So we've got the helmet, we've got the backpack, the main build has been completed. So now all we've got left to do is paint. Now the same methods that I've done for the helmet and the backpack are going to be used for the armour. The only difference is there's one different colour that's used for the pauldrons and the stomach and on the back, which is this kind of a very warm light blue, but the rest is pretty much the same techniques we've already done. So let's get right to it. Right, everything has been primed, painted, just gone over it again with some really fine wet and dry, so that's some 1200 grit, just to get rid of any lumps and paint bleeds that have happened, like any dribbles, just so everything's nice and smooth. So now we can actually work on the weathering. So I'm going to do the same thing that I've done with the backpack and the helmet, and use chalkboard paint for the main weathering, and then we go over it with the blood bits. Now there are some other bits of this armour that do need some bits of colour added, but with the weather at the moment, it's literally done nothing but rain all day. We're going to have to wait to do those bits, so we're just going to have to weather up the other bits that don't have any custom paint on it for now. Okay, so the weathering has been completed on a few bits. The only bits we haven't done are other bits that need to have different colours sprayed on them before we do the weathering pass. Now, it doesn't seem to be raining at the moment, so I'm going to tape these bits up and go over them. So on the back, we've got some blue that needs to go on there. On the stomach and the back, that's grey and blue. On the pauldrons, that's grey and blue as well, and on the chest is grey. Once we've got all that sprayed, we'll do the weathering pass on that, and then it's doing all the hand-painted details. So like these bits, I didn't realise they've got to be painted in black. We've got to paint in all the blood effects and stuff like that. It's just a very time-consuming process, this, trying to get all the weathering to look right and nice. so with painting the shoes, we're going to do it slightly differently to how we're doing the red on the rest of the armour. So for that one, obviously we're using the little pot of Painter's Touch. For this, I'm actually going to spray them, as I found this, which is in the same brand, Painter's Touch, still craft enamel, but in a little spray can. And the colour, I've just done a little colour test, is very, very similar. It's not exact, but it's very close to the one we're using. So to help save on the paint, and we get a much better coverage for the shoes, because it's quite a large bit to do around. I think we have to do the bottom of these as well. Yeah, I'm going to be using this. So I'm going to have a couple of light coats and try and sand some edges to get some of sort of the white to come back underneath. I just covered the Velcro attachments on here just so they don't get fully covered in paint, and the Velcro won't stick as well. Okay, so most of the paint job on Sev is complete. Literally, I'm just waiting on a little bit of more paint to come in, and all I've got to do is a blood on these shin pieces, and that's it. The rest of the paint is done. We've done the attachment for the backpack, so there's 2 screw holes just in the back of the back plate. That also connects 2 screw holes in the back of the backpack, and there's a big hole in there just so I can reach in the back and secure it all as well. Just using some screws that I got in one of my heavy duty popper kits. Little flathead screw, and there's a bolt on the end there. Might change it to a wing nut screw, but that's just what I've got at the moment. So I've just left the screws in there for now, just so I don't lose them, because this has already been lacquered, so I don't need to worry about that. And yeah, so we just have to lacquer the rest of this, but let me take you through kind of each one bit by bit, because I didn't film every single piece being painted. So first up, we got the neck seal, and this is just done in a satin black, so I already had some satin lying around. So when we seal that, it's just going to be a nice matte black, and that's going to look really good. All the base white for this clone is done in rattle cans. It's a white Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch spray can. It's just the matte white that they do. Obviously, just use whatever white you can get. The only reason I used rattle cans for the rest of this project was to match the backpack and the helmet. Should have really used something with the proper spray gun, because you end up going through a lot of paint doing it this way. But you live and you learn. And still, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, everything's got its base coats of white to go over the primer layer, which is a 2-pack primer, so it sticks really well to the plastic, helps fill in any tiny imperfections that are left, gives a really good solid base for the paint to go on. And obviously the bits that don't have any colour on, we've just gone over that with the chalkboard paint, just sort of getting it in all the grooves, just making it look all worn. I'm trying to make it look natural, not brushed on or anything. But yeah, I do love chalkboard paint for weathering, because you can get some really nice effects with it, and it feels good, it looks good, you've got texture to it. It's just a really good paint to work with, and it's really cheap, and it lasts a long time. So the shoulder bells for Sev are mostly white. This detail piece in the middle, that's grey. So we're just using the same colours that we're using, like the same grey is used on here. On the chest, that is used on the helmet that I previously did. So all our colours match. But as you can see, it's a gloss one, but that will be brought down when we put the lacquer on over the top. See, all the white has just been battle damaged with the chalkboard paint. And then we've got a really nice blue. Again, I'm just using all the same brand for all the colours. So this is, for this blue is a Rust-Oleum Spa Blue, which is that lovely bright blue that is on my Holiday Special Boba Fett helmet. So sprayed on, rubbed away, and again the chalkboard paint added for that little bit of dirt. Here we got the biceps. So we've got a black bit in the middle, just hand painted that. Obviously got the blood effect, but that's just on the one side, which is the outside edge of it. It's not on the inside edge, but again, you've got that same black bit there. And then all the lovely chalkboard paint weathering again. And I went quite heavy in some of these grooves, because I thought, well, that'll be sort of naturally where the dirt sticks the most. Next up, we got the elbows. Now, looking on my reference images from the game, there was something on his elbows. It kind of looked a little bit like sort of brown rust kind of effect, but considering we don't have that paint effect anywhere else on the actual costume, I decided just to add a little bit more blood on there because I think it looks really, really cool. And considering the forearms have got a little blood on it, and the biceps do, having just this white bit in the middle, I just thought, it just needs a little bit of something extra, so this may not be considered perfectly accurate, but I think it looks pretty damn cool. And here we've got the forearms again, all nicely weathered. I tend to do the weathering first and then all the blood effects afterwards, and then just re-weather the blood a little bit. You don't have to go too hard. I did go a little bit heavier on the forearms because you've got lots of indents and creases on here and it'll be a lot harder to clean. This bit's probably going to be the bit that gets like quite dirty in combat, so just trying to think of it sort of like logically of what would be the dirtiest bits. And you go the hand plates covered mostly in the red, again weathered down. Then we've got the chest, so this is done in that grey. The grey doesn't go all the way around, you've got a bit of white just at the top here. And again, I've just gone and weathered away some of the paint again, so it's all sanded. I try not to dry brush weathering on anymore because I never think it looks as good as actually going through to the paint layer underneath. Chalkboard paint on the top, trying to go in the grooves, and then my last blood effects on the top there. Didn't want to weather the blood on this one too much, wanted this kind of to stand out. Obviously it's shiny at the moment, but again, we still need to matte all this down. So the stomach armour, most of it is, obviously the bottom section is done in the white. Got a little bit more weathering around where the tummy connects. And up top here, the same method that is used for the shoulder bells. So we got that spar blue, sanded it away to the white underneath, and then gone over it with the chalkboard paint. So the piece of the arm, you don't really see the back piece, but again I still wanted to paint it all. So you've got the spar blue that goes around most of the back. So again, same method, spray it on, sand it back, add the chalkboard weathering, but there is some blood on one side. So just added that, weathered that a little bit. Went sort of heavier around sort of the edges where you would see just coming out from the backpack. So that edge is just where the backpack sits there. And then you've got the back plate for the stomach armour, so the kidney plate. Again, the same grey used for the chest. This hasn't got a huge amount of weathering on it. Again, I just wanted to sort of take away some of the paint. We've got a wash of chalkboard paint over the top and some blood on there. And that blood on there lines up to what's on your butt. There's a lot more blood on the butt than I thought there was. Oh, you've still got this sort of chunk of grey underneath there as well. Most of it is covered with the paint, but you can still see sort of the line and the edge. Again, so it is important to do the full proper base spray. I think the legs have some of the lightest weathering on them because they're a very flat surface. There is not really a lot of indents to go on, but there's some more weathering around the front. It's a bit heavier at the bottom here where the knee plate would sit, and obviously up in the grooves, around the edges, around the back here a little bit more because it's sort of like a deeper groove than the front one. And we got some blood on the side. Now in the game it's very, very clearly got like finger smears in it, so I tried to replicate that on here. Yeah, and I think that's come out quite well. Weathered over that one a little bit, but again not too much. And then these are the knee plates. So the weathering again is a little bit heavier in the grooves on this one, purely because you think, oh, you're going to be kneeling down a lot. Well, not in Armour, but in the games they can do stuff like that, so in real life not possible, but you still want that to be sort of replicated, so there's some darker patches on here that there really isn't on the other bits. Now I can just show you the base weathering for these before they get painted. So again, focus more on having weathering up in the kneecap where more dirt will collect around the side. It's sort of some bits on the body, more in the back there with some of the deeper grooves, and some down around the bottom. Not all of it will probably show up when we go over the top with the red paint, but it's always good to have the base there. And I'll show you what those look like when I finish painting those. And here's one of the shoelace covers. Again, going quite heavy with the weathering on here because it's part of the boot. So this is going to be what's dirtiest, because obviously you're walking around and that's what you're going to get most of the horrible whatever you're walking through in a war zone on. And we are so very close to being able to wear this. I genuinely can't wait to do my first full suit up with all the paint on it. It's going to be so cool. Okay, so I just wanted to show you kind of the difference with how the paint looks from going from the gloss to the matte. So this one I've already sprayed matte and it's dried So you can see the paint's no longer shiny. This one is still drying, so you see it's a bit tacky. Because when you get, I'm just again using a rattle can for this. It's actually this one here. So yeah, seals, protects, enhances. Basically, one, we want it to be matte, so it takes the gloss away from the paint. Two, it does protect the paint, and it will also help protect the weathering as well. So when you first spray it on, it will be wet and it will be glossy. As you can just see, there's a little bit sort of a tacky shine to that one at the moment, because that's still drying. So don't panic if you spray it on and you go, oh god, no, this isn't matte, this is gloss. It's not gloss, it will dry matte. So yeah, this is kind of the difference between having the gloss paint, which is still on the back of the hand, and the matte one. Just brings everything down a little bit, and I think it makes the colour just a little bit better as well, but that's just it's just me. So here's the legs now fully painted up. The matte's been sprayed on there. Dad did all the matte spraying whilst I was painting the legs just to save on a bit of time, so thank you for that. And I've also done the boots and put my shoelace covers on, so they're all weathered. Again, I've got some matte spray on there, and they are ready to go. So, shall we put this on for the first time? I think we shall. And there you have it. One pretty much complete bar the accessories, and I will have to do a couple of tweaks because actually this is the first time I've worn it with that backpack, and the backpack really does add some weight to it. So I'm going to have to tweak a little bit the strapping and the padding up the top here, and just tweak a couple of other bits because again, you never know how it all sits till you fully wear it. More tweaks and more test fits, but they're nothing too major. They're something I can just do when I got a little bit of time. But overall, I am super happy with that. A character I've wanted to cosplay for so many years, like since I first played the game, I get to do now. So the final part of this armour will be doing Seb's accessories, but those are going to take a little while to arrive because we're going to get them from Wicked Armour, and with everything that's going on at the moment, I'm not sure when they're going to arrive, but the majority of the armour is finished and wearable, so for now I can say that's pretty much done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build for Seb. Again, like I said, more stuff will be coming soon, but only one more episode, so we've done most of it, and I think it's looking pretty damn cool, and I hope you guys have enjoyed coming along this journey with me. I know it's taken a while to get the videos out, but I really didn't want to rush the project, and I think I've definitely benefited from taking my time over this and making sure I got it how I wanted it, because I am so pleased with that. Like, I can't see it how you guys see it because you get to see it all on the nice camera. I can only see it via the reflections in this room and when I watch the footage back and when I see pictures, and just catching my reflection when I first suited up over in the window over there, so stoked, so stoked. I adore this character and I cannot wait to bring him out to conventions. So thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you very much to my Patreon supporters, especially to Jeff Kenny and to Rye. If you want to support me on Patreon, links as always at the end of the video and the description down below. This is something I'd like to do full time one day, but you don't have to do that. Just watching the videos, commenting, sharing, subscribing to this channel, that all helps out too. We got some cool plans for this year, so stick around. As I said, subscribe, so you'll be one of the first to see it. So thank you guys again, take care, and instead of signing this off with my usual, I'm just going to say, the down. See you guys in the next video.